What's up guys, it's Rob, and today we're going to be looking at the Steelseries Prime Wireless. This mouse is $130, comes in at 81 grams, and it was released Q2 2021. It has an ergonomic shape, and before I go any further, just wanted to let you all know I have added this mouse to my mouse review sheet. Link to that is down in the description, please go check it out. And I will have gameplay that I got with this mouse at the end of this video, so stick around for that. So let's get right into it. This mouse does have a USB-C port and or charger. I know a lot of people like USB-C, so that's pretty cool. It has the TrueMove air sensor, which is a sensor that I did not have any issues with whatsoever. It performed really well, and the liftoff distance is low and it cannot be changed. Also, the battery life is rated at 100 hours. After my 1 week of use, the mouse was around 30% charged, so that is pretty good. So now for the shape of the mouse. At my hand size, I am able to palm grip this mouse pretty easily and pretty comfortably too. One thing I would like to note, because of the jaggedness of the back, I do end up feeling this jaggedness when I try to palm grip this mouse, but it's just a different feeling that I get when palm gripping this mouse compared to other ergonomic mice, or just when I palm grip another mouse in general. It's not discomfort, but at my hand size, palm grip was comfortable and it worked really well. Claw grip also worked really well at my hand size. My hand size is 17.5 centimeters long by 9.5 centimeters wide. And well, I was just able to claw grip this mouse very naturally and comfortably. It definitely felt much more natural than palm grip, and I'm sure people who have slightly bigger hand sizes than me will also be able to claw grip this mouse. And with claw grip, I'm not really able to feel the jaggedness here of the back. So now for fingertip grip, I wouldn't really recommend this mouse for fingertip grip, especially at my hand size, because when I try to grip the mouse, I just feel other parts of the mouse touching the palms of my hand. And well, when I try to fingertip, it's not just my fingertips touching the mouse. And the only way I can see fingertip being possible is if you push the mouse forward. With most other mice that are pretty big, if you push the mouse forward and you grip it more towards the back, you will obviously be clicking mouse 1 and mouse 2 from this position here, and as you can see, you'd be gripping it more towards the back of the mouse. But this is really the only way I can fingertip at my hand size. I mean, it still works. Mouse 1 and mouse 2 are harder to press down on when pressing them from here, but if you really want to make fingertip grip work with this mouse, then at my hand size, that's the only way I was able to make it possible. So now for the coating of the mouse. The coating of the mouse is the same throughout the entire mouse. My experience with this coating was very positive. I do have very sweaty and clammy hands, so coating is a pretty big deal for me. And the grip that I got with the coating of this mouse was good enough. It wasn't as grippy as the super light coating or the KPU, of course. I would say it feels similar to the coating of the Ergo 3, but just not as grainy, because the Ergo 3 coating feels somewhat grainy. And well, when my hands got sweaty, I still had grip and the mouse didn't get slippery. One thing I would like to note is that the coating of this mouse does gather gamer gunk pretty easily, and I did have to clean the mouse at the end of my week of use. And also, as you can see, the coating also gathers sweat marks or fingerprint marks, which I really don't think is a big deal, but I know it's a deal breaker for a lot of people, so I just thought it would be something to note. So I don't think the coating is that bad, because it didn't really feel slippery and I got nice grip with it. I was really surprised with the mouse feet of this mouse, because in the past, Steelseries has had horrible mouse feet on previous products, but these actually performed really well. I get a nice smooth glide on my GameSense Radar mousepad, and I also tried it on my Artisan Hein, and it was a smooth glide there as well. I had no scratchiness issues on either of the mousepads, so that's also a huge plus. The speed of the glide seemed to be just slightly above average when compared to other stock mouse feet, and I really don't think these mouse feet need to be replaced, because I get a nice smooth glide with no issues, and the speed of the glide is just slightly above average. So the only reason I could see myself replacing these mouse feet is if I would want an even faster glide, but these stock mouse feet will get the job done. So now for mouse 1 and mouse 2, I really do think that these optical switches on mouse 1 and mouse 2 are the best optical switches that I have used on any mouse. These feel very snappy and crisp. I've heard some people say that they don't like mouse 1 and mouse 2. I really do think that they are very satisfying to press. Mouse 1 has little to no pre and post travel, while mouse 2 does have a bit more post travel than mouse 1, but it is nothing that I noticed in game and it didn't affect my gameplay at all. One thing I would note is that the force required to actuate mouse 1 and mouse 2 is heavier than average when compared to other mice, so if you do prefer heavier clicks, then you will like mouse 1 and mouse 2 of this mouse. And obviously if you prefer a more sensitive click, then just keep in mind that these are heavier to actuate. I also get no side play on mouse 1 and mouse 2 unless I look for it, so there are definitely no issues there. One thing I would like to point out about mouse 1 and mouse 2, and this is something I noticed while just browsing casually around on my desktop, and it's the actual design of mouse 1 and mouse 2. So right here on the sides, where the side of the mouse starts, you can see, unlike most mice, here mouse 1 ends and kind of the side of the mouse starts like here at the top. And one day when I was just casually browsing, I ended up trying to press mouse 1 and I was pressing like the side of the mouse, and depending on your grip, so if you grip the mouse like more towards the outer parts of mouse 1 and mouse 2, then definitely keep this in mind, because this is something that can bother you if you choose to get this mouse. Once it happened to me once, it never happened to me again because I became conscious of it, but I just thought it was something to note because it's something that I ran into during my use of this mouse. So now for the side buttons of this mouse. The side buttons are very similar to the Aerox 3 and Rival 3 side buttons, which were side buttons that were horrible. One main difference is that they aren't as long as the ones on the Rival 3 and Aerox 3. They are shorter, but they're still very skinny, and that is why I think these side buttons are horrible. That's why I thought those side buttons were bad. The side buttons are also shaped very different, I guess. They're kind of like angled in towards the middle, and it kind of just makes the surface area that you can actually press down on the side buttons smaller. You can obviously still press down on the entire side button, but it just becomes harder because of the angles on the side buttons, and I really just don't think it's a smart design. I don't get any post or pre-travel when pressing on either of the side buttons. I also get a nice crisp click when pressing on both of them, and also the overall performance is perfectly fine with the side buttons, but it's just the shape and the size that I really don't like, and it's just why I think they're horrible side buttons. So now for the scroll wheel of the mouse. The scroll wheel feels very tactile when scrolling slowly, but as you begin to scroll faster, it feels less tactile the faster that you scroll. When scrolling up or down, no matter at which speed, I never accidentally actuated middle mouse button, and when pressing down on middle mouse button, I would actually sometimes scroll up or down. And this is mainly because of the force required to actuate middle mouse button. This middle mouse button actually has the heaviest actuation force to actuate middle mouse button on any mouse that I have ever used, which is very unfortunate because it is a pretty heavy actuation, and I just thought I would take note of this for people who do like to use middle mouse button in game or anything like that. Just keep in mind that the actuation force required is pretty heavy. Also, when scrolling up or down, the scroll wheel is somewhat loud. Not as loud as a Zowie scroll wheel, but it's definitely close. Also, I'm not sure if you can hear this, and I'm not sure if it's a quality control issue, but when I scroll down fast, you can kind of hear like a whistle sound on my scroll wheel. So yeah, like I said, I'm not sure if that's just my copy or it's a quality control issue, but I just thought I would take note of that. To me, it really isn't that big of a deal. I'm wearing a headset and I don't really hear that. And also, I'm not constantly scrolling that fast, so didn't think it was much of an issue. But overall, the scroll wheel did perform really well, other than just the force required to actuate middle mouse button. I didn't have any other issues with it. But for me, the force required to actuate middle mouse button is kind of a deal breaker because I do use middle mouse button to ping in game and all that stuff, and that's why I kind of just didn't like using it. So now for the build quality of this mouse. The build quality is exceptional. It feels very solid and of high quality. I get no flex anywhere when stress testing the mouse. I also get no creaking when stress testing the mouse. Also, when I shake the mouse, I get no rattle or anything like that. The mouse is just built really well, and the build quality is just really nice. So would I end up recommending this mouse? Well, yes and no. I do think this mouse can compete with some of the top tier wireless mice that are out right now. But the reason I also say no is because I don't think this is the best wireless ergonomic mouse that is out right now. I think the Roccat Cone Pro Air is better than this mouse, and I think the Cone Pro Air shape is much safer as well. But if you like a more sensitive mouse 1 and mouse 2 and a more sensitive scroll wheel, then I would go with the Cone Pro Air. But if you want a heavier mouse 1 and mouse 2, as well as a heavier actuation force for the middle mouse button, then I would go with the Prime Wireless. So you really just have to pick and choose which features you would want on your wireless Ergo mouse. Other than that, I do think the Prime Wireless is a top tier mouse. Definitely isn't anywhere near perfect, but I performed really well with it, and I enjoyed my time with it. One thing I would also like to note is that this mouse does not have Bluetooth, so keep this in mind if you are planning on buying this mouse. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you all later. Bye!
Why'd you stop shooting him?
He's lost. You gotta do it. You gotta do it.
He's only got like 3 hours.
It's fine. He just doesn't realize what he needs to do.
Yeah, I know.
Oh no.
Get the fuck out of the way. Oh my god, this fucking team.
Break a dick off in him, blood.
Ouch.
Holy shit!
Oh, that was so close.